All right, welcome back to another video on my channel here. Today we're going to be talking about why it is so important to actually take time out to be by yourself, especially as a mom, a woman, an entrepreneur. And I'm also going to be sharing with you not just the importance of taking that time out, but the 5 things that I did that really took me from burnt out to being on fire with my energy levels, all right? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jenn J. I'm a women's hormone health coach and family nutritionist. My practice is built on empowering women who are living with uncomfortable and debilitating hormonal symptoms, things like painful periods, mood swings, PMS, weight issues, and low energy. I help them reclaim their lives and put those period problems to rest while helping the entire family eat healthier because I get it. I'm a mom. If it's not easy, it's not going to happen. Now, let me tell you, just a few years ago, I was a totally different person because I was literally operating at this high level 100% of the time. It was fast paced. I was overworking. I was nonstop. I was on the go constantly. And truthfully, it's both a blessing and a curse to be able to function like that. I can get a lot done in a short amount of time. I can work all day well into the night. I can take on huge tasks. I can multitask, and I can still remember all of those important and even mundane things in life, right? So it's cool that I can work like that, but this came at a cost for me. And I'm curious, does that sound like you? Are these the types of, abilities that you have as well? Because I know I'm not the only person like that. Um, but I didn't even know that I was, you know, paying for this. All right. It came at a cost for me. And I had no idea. I didn't even know I was, paying for it. Right. So, and the way I kind of like to describe it in my practice when I'm talking to my clients about this is that it was like I had this pocket full of change, right? So like money clinking around in my pocket, and that pocket had a small hole in it, right? And the more busy that I was, the more things I took on, the more time I spent with or for other people, the more change was falling out of my pocket. The thing is I didn't know it was falling out, right? I just sort of thought that I had this unlimited reserve, right? um, but what happened was, when my pocket was empty, I crashed. I was, dirt broke, and by that I mean that my health had literally plummeted. I started gaining weight. My menstrual pains were at an all-time high. My food cravings were absolutely ridiculous. I could clear a plate and no problem and go back for seconds or thirds. And when my mood swings kicked in, it was literally like I could kill a bear with a look. Like it was just really, really awful and a little bit embarrassing actually now when I think about, how uncomfortable I used to make people feel because of my energy and the way I was treating them. So, my mental health also took a dive. I basically crashed and burned. I was anxious, I was short-tempered, I was super moody, I was aggressive, sarcastic, resentful, and then at the same time I was just racy. Like just everything was just always, on this high level even though I was exhausted. I had nothing in me. And my emotional health started to go with that, right? So I was getting really depressed. I was also becoming detached, so I wasn't connecting well with the people around me. Not only was I damaging those relationships just from the way I was treating people, but I was also emotionally detaching from the people around me. I wasn't able to enjoy the things in my life that I used to. I wasn't able to really find peace. And I found that I was disappointed with myself and my behaviors all the time. So this was all, based on a stress response. Okay. And this was basically from, stress affecting my menstrual cycle. And this was really sort of the last component that I had addressed in my own hormone health journey. And yet with my clients, it's the first one because it's so impactful that it's incredible to see how that changes. And because relearning healthy stress responses is difficult, it does take a lot of time, right? So If you're curious to learn how and why stress affects our menstrual cycles and the types of symptoms we experience, then you're definitely going to check out my other video, how stress affects our periods, which I'm going to actually just link here in the video. You'll see a little pop up in a little bit here. Um, but what I found was when I learned how to take time out for myself, it was almost like I had sewn up that hole in my pocket, right? And I was now steadily adding more change back into it. So I was refilling. I became richer, right? I became fueled, and not just financially, like, although yes, that happened too, right? I was actually able to financially make more money because I had better energy levels and I had better relationships with the people around me. um, but I was also, happier. I was healthier. I felt lighter. I was friendlier. I was grateful. And I was overall just a much better person because of it. So, taking time out for yourself is really one of the most important aspects of self care, right? And that's such a buzzword these days. How are you doing your self care, right? But it really truly is so important to our health that we really do need to find time in our day to do it, to relax, to unwind, to recharge, to de escalate from those heightened stress responses before we do anything else and while we're doing other things. So, even if you're busy with work or family life, giving yourself time to relax can can actually help you fulfill your responsibilities more efficiently and without stress. So I was this kind of person, was like, oh, I don't have time to do those things. I don't have time to read a book. I don't have time to take a bath. I don't have time to, um, you know, focus on my hobbies because I was so busy and on the go, right? And it felt like if I was taking time to do those things, I felt like I was wasting time, right? Like that was time that I could use to be productive or to do other things that I could, get the laundry done, get the dishes done, I could get some house cleaning done. So I actually had really wrapped myself around being busy and forgetting to actually take care of myself in that process. So, whether you work in an office all day or you're at home taking care of the kids or, something in between all of that, it really is important to find at least 15 minutes to give yourself some breathing space from all the busyness, right? At work, you could, wait for a lunch break to sneak to your car or a quiet space outside. That's what I used to do when I was working in office. At home, you can wait for your partner or your kids to calm down before you focus on yourself. You could even ask for that support as well. This was something that I had to start doing, was, excusing myself from my family unit to take that time for myself or to prioritize myself. And what I actually found when I did that was that, believe it or not, everybody survived without me for the 15 minutes, which was, something I couldn't fathom was possible. But also, too, is I started setting that boundary for my needs, but also modeling behavior for my daughter and my husband as well, that, we should be taking that time for ourselves and we should be showing each other that we need to do that and asking for that support. And I was incredibly grateful that, my family unit has actually embraced that and that we do give ourselves and each other that support. So, asking your kids and your partner to help support you in that journey as well, or maybe it's, asking your parents to, watch the kids for 20 minutes so that you can go for a walk or something, just asking for that support is really important. Um, but once you have these minutes to yourself without excessive distractions and overwhelm, then you can really utilize these 5 tips to make the most of your time. So these are 5 things that I did that really helped change the game for me in my self-care journey, right? In my stress de-escalation. So number 1 was focusing on breathing. So when you're alone, focus on your breathing and your posture to completely relax yourself. You're going to want to inhale slowly and deeply. You want to feel it right from your stomach. And then exhale completely to feel at ease, right? And this will help calm your mind and your body very quickly. It actually helps calm your nervous system. It also helps deliver fresh oxygen and nutrients to other parts of your body, particularly your brain, so that you can function and think more clearly and have more energy sustained throughout your day, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 is, engage in a short activity. So even if you're pressed for time, you can still find ways to get a quick exercise in to stay healthy, to calm your nerves. You can, walk to the store instead of driving. You can quietly jog in place if you can't go outside. You can stretch your body, shake out your limbs. You can, just little things that get your blood flowing so you stay loose and calm. And what we also find too is that when we physically move our body, it does help our nervous system regulate and de escalate from those stress responses. So if we've got, you know, a little bit of space to move our body a little bit, we do find that it can help us expel that energy, all right? That negative energy that we feel, right? Like it doesn't feel good to feel stressed. I don't like it. I don't know, like none of my clients like it. I'm sure you don't like it either. The next thing, number three, would be to read something special. So you can keep a small book of poetry or inspirational quotes nearby that you can dip into when you've got a couple of minutes to yourself. Sometimes even just a well-written poem can really just sort of liven your spirits, and it gives you that perfect boost throughout what could feel like a monotonous day for you. And if you prefer, you could also do something like crossword puzzles and Sudoku. So if you find that you need something a little bit more stimulating, which is for me definitely where I sit, then I really do enjoy doing Sudoku and crossword puzzles. I find that they do help stimulate me and yet center me at the same time, without having that overstimulation. Another thing you can do too is, of course, there's always apps for your phone that you can download that deliver a an inspirational quote of some kind to you throughout the day. You can put it on a schedule. You could also, just do once daily. Maybe it helps you to have something early in the morning that brightens your day, or something in the evening just to help you recenter, regravitate, that sort of thing. Um, Number four is to buy yourself something nice. Now, you don't have to spend tons of money, but treating yourself to something nice every now and then can boost your mood, right? It just helps you get excited about things in your life. It helps change things up, and it doesn't have to be extravagant. It could be a little bit of dark chocolate. It could be a super cute keychain, or a new hair clip. Buy yourself a beautiful postcard of somewhere you'd love to go, or something inspiring, some nice words or a picture just to pin on your wall near your desk, that sort of thing. When you give yourself gifts and treats, you're showing yourself love, right? And it helps improve that mood. Most of us love to receive something, so there's no reason why you can't give yourself something for that as well. And then number five, is to practice positive thinking. So it's really easy to fall into the trap of negative thinking throughout the day, right? And it's really easy for it to just compound on top, where you have this domino effect. One negative thing in your day happens, and then you find that all you see are all these negative things in your day, and it just seems to keep piling on. And you just, by the end of the day, you come home and you're totally exhausted and you're a wreck and you're emotional and you just want to crawl in your bed. And, I've even heard my clients say, I just want to crawl up and die, right? So it's very extreme, but when we get into that trap of constant negative thinking through our day, it's very easy to let ourselves get there. So it's extremely important that we break that trap and that cycle before it becomes self-fulfilling, right? So what that means is, like I said, how, one little thing, one negative thing in our day, all of a sudden that's all we're seeing are all these negative, and that's where it's self-fulfilling. So instead of worrying about the errands and the chores and the work and all the things you have to get done, think about how nice it will be to complete those tasks. What will it feel like? How satisfying will it feel to have something else checked off your list, right? You'll have to complete them anyways, that's not the point, but it's better to think of it as a positive of getting it completed and how it will feel for you, what it will mean for you, instead of the dull negative of having to do it, right? So, also, instead of worrying about how long a project will take, you could try to imagine how pleasant it will be to complete it, right? Like I'm a list girl. Like, I make lists for everything. It's so satisfying to be able to see those things check off. For many of us, actually, checking things off a list is actually a little bit of an endorphin hit as well. So those feel good hormones, the same hormones that are released when we consume things like sugar, alcohol, drugs, gambling, even scrolling our social media feeds and reels, those also release some of those dopamine hits. So, and those endorphins. So, creating a list in order for you to be able to check things off is, of course, a really great way for you to get some of that positive, that positivity checking off in your brain as well. So there you have it. Those are the 5 things that I did that I went, that took me from burnt out in my life to really on fire. It was focus on your breathing. Number 2 was completing or engaging in a short activity of some kind, preferably a physical one. 3 is reading something special. 4 is a little bit of retail therapy. And then number 5 was practicing positive thinking. So if you found this video to be helpful and uplifting for you, be sure to like and share it. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember to keep living healthy one bite at a time. Bye, everybody.